Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 7 of the Pretty Ninja Racing Formula 3 Championship, hosted on the World Sim Series website. My name is Anders, and I'll be your host for this evening's event. I hope you're all doing well and you've had a good week. It's Sunday again, and I'm currently standing up in my shed, and this is why it's going to look like a weird camera angle. It's freezing in PNR HQ right now. The heater is on. I should have put it on earlier. It's my own fault, but never mind. And to the right of me, you can see the current standings. The cars are already on track for the free practice session, and eagle-eyed viewers, when we switch scene, will notice that we're at a different track. We were going to race at Croft, but it's a full DRS circuit, and quite frankly, kind of defeats the point of having a DRS system if you can use it everywhere. So it kind of just nullifies the effect of it. So we're headed to Paul Ricard by pick the quickest layout possible, with two key DRS zones, one being the start-finish straight and the long GT straight going along, well, the back straight, essentially. So for the time being, let's take a quick look at the standings in the Formula 3 Championship. And we can see that Van der Hoeven is leading the way with 130 points. Butler is a bit behind in P2 with 112 points. It is possible for Van der Hoeven to win the championship tonight, but he would need Butler to retire effectively, which I don't see happening. And we can see that Butler has been picking up the race victories, well, towards the tail end of the season, but with 2 rounds left, is it too little too late? If Butler manages to win today and Van der Hoeven finishes P2, there will be a 14-point difference for the final round, which is effectively Van der Hoeven will need to finish higher than P7. So it's going to be very difficult for Butler to knock Van der Hoeven off the top spot, but we have seen it being done before. So we will have to keep an eye on that. As I mentioned, Butler is P2. Jay Skyring rounds us off in P3. Koba is in P4, who is not racing again tonight. So basically, third place is Butler's, no, it's Skyring's, but is also battling for that P2 spot with Butler. So again, anything can happen within the top 3 over the next 2 rounds. So it's definitely one to keep an eye out for. Koba is not driving tonight from what I can see from the drivers list, which is a shame because they did really well. You can see they joined in at least half of the season. It's a shame that they didn't come across for the rest of the season. Fabrice Letmy is in P5 and will most likely move into P4 this evening, depending on what results that they get. Mayor is in P6. Spool is in P7, which could possibly move up. I'm just checking the drivers list. So Mayor isn't currently, well, he's not registered to drive, so Spool will move up to P6 guaranteed as long as he finishes tonight. Mark Colson's in P8, Bernardi in P9, and Sobek rounds us off for our top 10. Realistically, the top 10 will move about quite a lot tonight, which I'm quite excited to see. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, we did have a track change, so whilst we're waiting for the cars to move into the qualifying session, because I believe free practice is almost over, let's take a quick track recce of Paul Ricard, the fastest layout. I don't know what his official name is, but it's pretty quick. So here we are at Paul Ricard, but with a bit of a twist. And no, it's not the short now as we go and hit DRS as we go over the starting line. And rather than going hard on the brakes for T1, we're going to keep it pinned down. We're going to go flat, follow it to the left, follow it to the right, and get ready for the first heavy braking zone here. Go down 2 gears, just clipping the curb, down 1 more for this left-hander here, and then down 1 more again for the nice tight right-hander. Generally going back on the power, being tentative because we have a very low downforce car and it's very easy to lose the rear end. You'll probably notice a few of the tyre marks on the circuit as we go around over the DRS, and it's a long straight. It's the GT straight for today's race. DRS battles throughout the field, I would imagine. That's what we'll see, because quite frankly there's not many heavy braking zones apart from the middle of sector 1 and sector 3. I'm going to let off a little bit through here just because I've not got the most most downforce. As we can see, the jets are stuck in the air right there, which is quite funny. Keeping it in 4th gear. If I put it to 3rd, you'll lose the rear end there. Back over to the right, being very tentative as we go around this left-hander. As you can see, there you go, the car wants to kick itself out. So it's really finding that balance of top speed and downforces to go nice and wide to line myself up for the tighter right-hander, and we'll go over the DRS zone one more time to complete our flying lap. Now our drivers will most definitely drive this a bit quicker than I am, but in theory I've selected this course to keep the racing relatively close. If you're flat out most of the time, there's no real reason, apart from in the braking zones, to lose track of anybody. So it should produce a good race with the use of the DRS of the V6 RSS Formula 3 car. So without further ado, let's see how they're getting out on track by going back to Anders in the studio. So there you have it. There's not... Oh, hang on. So there you have it, ladies and gents. There's not a lot to it for this layout of Paul Ricard. It should be quite an interesting race coming up. And yeah, at a minute, they are just finishing pre-practice. I was a little bit ahead of schedule. And I do need to play about with my microphone just a little bit. Apologies. Here we go. So we're currently watching, as you can see on the big screen beside me, currently watching Van der Hoeven just coming over the timing line, in fact, and improving. The top 3 are split by 2 tenths. Oh no, actually no, I lied. They're split by half a second. Butler is half a second quicker. Well, actually no, more than that. Almost a full-blown second quicker. No, he is a second quicker. Oh my god, sorry. I'm just like doing mental maths really badly in my head this evening. This is not good. He's 1.2 seconds quicker than Van der Hoeven in free practice right now. Which you can't quite see, I don't think. But again, it is that kind of balance between having no aero whatsoever and having enough aero to not lose the rear end around these corners. Is actually a little more technical than meets the eye. Do you go for a safer setup for longevity, or do you go more risky and hope to reap some rewards? Now the cars are just finishing up free practice. They've all gone into the pits. If you want to join in more Pretty Ninja events in the future, whether it's AC or AMS2, make sure you like and subscribe and join our Discord, where you can find a link in the description of this live stream. It's good to see you. I hope you enjoy this race as much as I do. I've got a funny feeling it's either going to be utter carnage or it's going to be one of the most closest races we have ever seen, because you remember, DRS zones, you only have to be a second behind the car ahead of you to be able to use it. So the whole field's individually within a second of each other, it could be quite an interesting turnout. We will have to wait and see. As the cars are heading out onto the circuit, we will go trackside and we will go with our championship leader. Let's go trackside. Like I mentioned, we will go for our championship leader, who is driving the camo and orange Sharky livery. And hopefully, you know, I hope Van der Hoeven does have a good race. There is a very good opportunity on his hands, or on their hands, sorry, to actually almost seal the deal today. But I think it's going to be a little bit more tactical than meets the eye. It's going to be a little bit like oval racing, in the sense of you don't necessarily want to be the car in front unless you have a massive lead. And no seats don't look like they're doing very well, do they? Let's see if there's anything that I can sort that out in the config. That didn't look very good, does it? Let's get rid of... Oh, landscapes is turned off. I don't know what's going on there then. Just a bit of a buggy sort of studio. And we can see in the top right, after the 12 hours of ring freaks, that our P&R team ended up finishing 5th, by the way, which was an incredible result. The delta is up there for qualifying. I'll remove it for the race, but right now for qualifying we'll be able to see what sort of predicted lap times drivers will be getting. Now Will there be a couple of people that will be helping each other out? Maybe. Butler and Skyring, maybe. Although Butler does seem to be on their own. And the cars are lining up behind Skyring. You can see there's 3 cars behind them. And I think they're all looking to take the advantage of slip. But again, there's only 3 minutes of qualifying left. So let's head back to our championship leader, who is leading the way. No slip. So you'll see them post a time, and Butler most likely will post a time, and you'll see them drop down the order because they have no slip. So it's a bit risky here between these two, unless they feel like they've got good enough pace without it. As Vanderhoven goes down the start-finish straight, let's go on board camera-wise. Let's go a little bit lower down. You can't quite see the speed. A little marker in a way, but we can see that they are maxed out in 6th gear. And just misses the apex slightly of that right-hander, but not to worry. I feel like there's better yet to come. And like I said, you have to be really careful. If you pick up a setup which is designed for just pure straight line speed, it's corners like this where you got to be look how really careful and smooth Vanderhoven is being with the steering wheel here. And over the DRS line, and we'll see Vanderhoven hop the lap time, but I got a funny feeling. Over the lap time they come. And Butler does move ahead, but is it all in vain? Where is Jay Skyring? Jay Skyring just goes over the timing line now. No, currently not all in vain. So it looks like a few of the cars have come out slipping. We can see the jets are stuck in the background there. What sort of camera angles do we have here? So Bernardi clearly had a bit of a bad run there. And a lot of the cars look to have not really taken advantage of the slip. So Butler and Vanderhoven right now are currently reaping the rewards. Let's take a look at Burridge. Burridge apparently just got a nice P3 in the MX5 World Sim Series Championship, so that's pretty good for Burridge. But can those skills from an MX5 be transferred over to the Formula 3? Burridge is also the only one on the soft tyre, which is quite a smart move for the qualifying session. Surprised nobody else has done that. And over the timing line they go to start their flying lap. And it's going to be a quiet trackside stream, I feel. Unless there's something I can do with the audio, because the camera angles are all quite far away today. So I apologise. Where's audio? There's audio. Let's turn the master up a little bit, shall we? Let's put it up to 100, and I'll keep an eye on it on the stream. There we go. See how we get on. So Butler has done a 38.5, half a second quicker than Vanderhoven. What is Jay Skyring going to do? Jay Skyring moves into P2 with a 38.78, so 0.08 of a second slower than Butler, which is not bad at all for someone that's got no slip assistance. Vanderhoven is on their last flying lap right now. Ignore the timer at the bottom. And to be fair, the predicted also looks broken, because predicted do a 2:57, so the predicted is not going to do us any favours here either. And there's 2 cars behind him. One of them's definitely getting slip right now. Fabrice Lamy has finished qualifying P5. Dupret in P6. Bernardi in P10. Race control, that's me, P13. It's not a problem, I haven't set a lap time. But what can Vanderhoven do here? Apparently predicted is now a 1:17. I don't believe that either, really. That is a rather godly lap if that's the case. So I believe that Burridge moves into P8 with a 1:42.1. Again, though, you're looking at the gaps. Remember, look at the gaps of the actual lap times. As long as they're within a second, there could be battles all over the place with the DRS zone in play. And Skyring has bailed out of their lap towards the end. So can Van der Hoeven knock Butler off the top? Oh, and DRS has been closed by Van der Hoeven. Oh, no, it's open again. Sorry, that was the camera angle. And Van der Hoeven stays P3, Butler P1. Martinez moves into P4. Dreiger. I'm just going to, sadly, I'm going to butcher your name. I'm very sorry. I'm going to call you Dreiger, because I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that first part of your name, but what can you do? Show me. And someone spun out at the very end. That looks like Spool. Spool's going to be P8. But what about Dreiger? Over the timeline they go. And it looks like no improvement. So there you have it. Here are your starting lineup. We have Butler taking P1, Jay Skyring, taking P2, Van der Hoeven P3, 7 tenths behind Butler. Now if he finishes P3, I'll have to do the maths in a moment, but obviously that will make the gap a little bit short. I think it's down to 10 points if that was the final result. Martinez gets a good qualifying lap time into P4. Dreiger P5. Fabrice Ledemy P6. Depret in P7. Spool P8. Burridge P9. Foronesi? I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I do apologise. P10. Mark Coulson in P11, and Bernardi rounds us off in P12. Sadly, Torres, who is also registered, has not turned up for the event. So let's keep an eye on our championship leader for this race start. Let's find a good camera. Not quite sure why it's... This happened the other day as well, ironically. There seems to be a building in the way, and that's the completely wrong corner. So I think our starting grid, in fact, let's start it from Burridge. Or Mark Coulson, actually. Let's do it from cockpit cam of Mark Coulson. Mark Coulson being one of the drivers that got us P5 in the Ring Freaks yesterday. So bear with me. Let me just get the CP Delta out of the way. Here we go. So get ready for lights out and away we go, as Crofty would say. And there are 6 lights. And off we pop for round 7 of the Ultimate Sim Racer. Now, according to this, all of the cars are in the pits, which is a bit weird. And it looks as though everyone's got a pretty good start. For Aussie, got a drive-through for using DRS, and a bit of carnage straight off the bat here, as Van der Hoeven is moved their way up. It looks like Butler got a terrible start and is down to P4 already, and Van der Hoeven has spun out. Oh, and there's damage for Butler. Make sure they get a safe rejoin. Looks like they got away with it. Just wanted to make sure where the safety car is. That's good. Cool. Sorry. So Jay Skyring has got a 1.4 lead. Dreiger is in P3, 1.4 seconds behind. Depret is looking rather quick already. And Van der Hoeven, the big news story, losing control and is currently down in P9, moving to P8 past Spool. It's got the outside line. And in fact, to be fair, that car is set up pretty well for straight line speed. It's already back up to P7. And there is a lot of work to do with our championship leader already. And there's a car off the road in the background there. That looks like it could well be. I'm not quite sure who that could be, actually, in all fairness. And Ferronetti looks like they've DNF'd already. So where is Mark Coulson? We started off with Mark Coulson, and Dreiger moves into P3 as they're battling currently with Depret, who is now under fire from Martinez. And Dreiger gets a poor exit out of the final line, and Depret is going to get a bit of an advantage here. DRS has now enabled this lap. So now here come the mind games. There goes P3. But can Dreiger hold on to it? Oh, and there's a bit of collision. They managed to hold it. Oh, and he's gone. Oh, that's such a shame. Dreiger can keep going, but there was a bit of contact there on lap 2 with Dreiger. And we'll have to take a closer look at that after the race to see if any penalties need to be applied. Now, Butler is 1.4, and there's more carnage in the background there. That's not Mark Coulson. Who else is that? Fabrice Lettermy. And Depret is now down into P11 after being P4 just a moment ago. So clearly a few of the drivers struggling with this form of layout. And Van der Hoeven, and there goes Depret again, and Dreiger has got a drive through for using DRS when they were nowhere in range. But the key thing is that Van der Hoeven is back into P4. Which would put him on 150 points at the end of the race. So Butler ideally, oh, and someone's just spun off in front as well, and there goes Martinez. So again, the drivers struggling to control the cars during race time, because again, it's all to do with the setup. So Mark Coulson is making her way around, and Spool looks to have fallen a position down to Bernardi, and again the same sort of problem as Butler just sets the fastest lap of the race so far. And there goes Martinez again, is it? Yeah, Martinez has lost the rear end, and the drivers can't, you know, because of the fact that there is no middle sort of chicane to force you to have DRS, or even at the front. So we can see that Bernardi and Spool, oh no, that wasn't Bernardi and Spool. Who was that? Burridge, sorry. Burridge and Dreiger currently having a little bit of a battle, and Burridge barging his way through there. In position back to Dreiger, who goes defensive, and Burridge is trying to get the old switcheroo on the go, but it's going to be quite tricky. Again, you've got to pick your battles at the right times. At the end of the day, there is DRS. Dreiger does have a drive-through and won't have DRS now, so, you know, we'll see how effective this DRS zone really is now. Dreiger's can't really defend against that, really. Not a lot you can do. But you've got to really pick your battles. Now, one person who is now in DRS zone currently is Butler, ahead of Jay Skyring. Now, Jay Skyring is still going to want the victory, because remember, these two are battling for P2 in the championship as well. And Fabrice Lettermy moves ahead of Dreiger as well, who also has a drive-through. Martinez is DNF'd. Depret is still going, even though they've been in a few collisions, bless them. Butler has just set another fastest lap of the race, a 1:41.2. And we'll just see how strong the DRS zone is now. We are within 6/10 of the car ahead. And Jay Skyring locks up the front right, going into that right-hander. Into the left, having to get the car back over. And Butler really is going to be on the charge now. Let's go to Jay Skyring. Look behind. We can see Butler has got DRS open. We're almost halfway down the straight, and there is halfway down the straight, and Butler is gone. And the DRS zone is just really powerful today. Now it's just Jay Skyring's turn to keep up with Butler. And if these two are smart about it, they could actually work together and pull a bigger lead to P3. Like I said, it's a little bit like oval racing. Dreiger is also really close behind Burridge and has got by now, but I don't think they've taken their penalty yet. And there is Jay Skyring, currently more than a second behind, so DRS is not going to be available. Oh, it is. So they were just in the limits. And Butler's now got the fastest lap of the race with 1:39.2. So that's how how precious DRS is. Bernardi's got a drive through for cutting. Bernardi is currently sat in P6, now P7, after letting Burridge through, and Dreiger is in the pit serving their drive through now. Oh, stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And now it's Jay Skyring's turn to get the DRS on the go. And like I said, it's going to be a little bit over racing-y, this is, because of how effective the DRS zone is. And Dreiger has taken their drive through, and Jay Skyring goes into the lead. But again, it's now a bit of more of a tactical battle, as Fabrice Letamy is also within the DRS zone. Now Fabrice Letamy is actually a little bit further back now, so I'm intrigued to see the difference here. We're 7 tenths, 8 tenths behind, and we'll see if that is about good enough to be able to make the move by the end of the corner. And look at the speed difference. Burridge isn't even bothering to defend. They just know that it's just not worthwhile. And Butler is actually out of the DRS zone. Oh, and he's just got it back just there. I just saw that. I hope you guys did too. Yeah, he's just over a second behind, and Fabrice Letamy trying to hold on to the rear end of that V6 F3 machine, and Jay Skyring's just set the fastest lap of the race. One driver that's currently very lonely right now is Van der Hoeven. No DRS, no chance to catch up the cars ahead. Oh, that was weird. Did anyone else hear that? I thought that was my headset then for a second. But no, I think it was actually like the noise of the jets. So Butler is within 1 second of Jay Skyring, as Lemmy's just set a personal best off the race so far. Burridge, look at the speed difference, 3 seconds, and I think that is purely DRS. Although Burridge has lost a lot of time to Fabrice Letamy in P5. Mark Coulson is down in P9, so I think Coulson must have had an incident, and here comes Butler now. Is Butler going to sit behind? He is. He is going to sit behind Jay Skyring for now. Interesting. Interesting. So we can see that the field is kind of broken up quite a bit now, and it's only these two drivers that have got DRS, and it's the battle for P1. Now, if things stay as they stand right now, there'll be an 8 points difference. 8 points. Which, in all fairness, would still be pretty good for Van der Hoeven. Van der Hoeven would need to finish, basically... Well, no, that's not true either, is it? That's... So Van der Hoeven, if this stayed as it is for the last round, Van der Hoeven would need to finish P3 and higher. But even then, if Butler wins that race, Butler will win the championship based on the fact that they've won more races. So I believe that's how the World Sim Series website does it. So realistically, Van der Hoeven would still need to finish P2 next weekend, where I believe we're heading to the Yas Marina circuit. So it's again a fast circuit, as Jay Skyring is moving right out of the way straight away, letting Butler through, getting straight back into the slip. And there was a bump there in the middle of the road that did not look very happy for Butler's car, and ahead of them I believe it's Mark Coulson. So Mark Coulson, not even 15 minutes in, because of the effectiveness of the DRS, is about to get lapped. Nothing of Coulson's wrongdoing or anything like that. And Jay Skyring is... Oh, he's ran off the circuit a little bit there. He needs to be careful of the track limit warnings. And I think Butler may have broken the DRS zone here. Indeed he has. 1.4 is the difference. Jay Skyring is slowly catching up after a really good exit out of the final corner. But the rest of the field are pretty much fixed in place here. But let's go and take a look at our championship leader in a minute. There's not a great deal wrong that they're doing. It was just the spin onto lap 1, which we should probably check. Just to make sure there was no, wrongdoing. Because, the championship is literally resting on that sort of incident points being taken there. Burridge has just set their personal best of the race so far. Pardon me. And I think the natural slipstream is possibly helping Jay Skyring out a little bit here. Coming down the back straight. But still, the gap is still over a second. So no DRS for them. And it would have been interesting if everyone got a nice clean start. And it was all stacked together. Although lap 1 could have been a bit... Well, it was always going to be carnage, really. There was always going to be spins. There was always going to be incidences. And sadly, Van der Hoeven was one of them. I did not expect that, to be honest. Who can we go and have a look at? Dreiger, who has served their drive-through. They do have a stop and go, which I assume they've taken. Because nothing has cropped up otherwise to say... Well, to say otherwise, really. There's not a lot more that they can do. They probably feel like the next quarter of an hour could be pointless, but you don't know what's going to happen to the cars ahead of you. You don't know if they're going to get penalties. You don't know if they're going to spin. Anything can happen, really. One driver that'll be hoping for a good result today will be Spool. And you can just see the rear end of that WSS car is not the happiest. What is the lap time difference between them and Burridge ahead? No, not much, to be fair. Burridge does have a lot of work to do if they want to catch up for Brice Lettermy. When you can hear a lock up there, and I believe that was from Burridge. A little bit of a lock up going into that right-hander. So we are halfway through the race. Our current race leader is Butler, our Ultimate Sim Racing champion. Jay Skyring is a close second, not quite within the DRS range though. Burridge said this straight, damn this straight is long. The straight is so long, ladies and gentlemen, that Burridge is driving currently in P5 and commenting in the chat. That's how long the straight is here. And it was all in aid for close racing, but sadly there was too much carnage on lap 1. Too much carnage. If everyone had just kept their heads, kept in their groups, everyone would be in a nice battle here. It would have been a nice train, but sadly, people lose control of their cars. Slight collisions. You name it, it's happened. Where was I? Van der Hoeven is in P3. Fabrice Lettermy just comes over the starting line, or timing line rather, to start their lap in P4. Burridge, who was just commenting in chat and is probably going to give me a response in a minute, is currently P5. Spool is in P6. Bernardi, P7. Dreiger, after 7 a drive-through and a stop and go, I'm assuming, is now in P8, and Mark Coulson rounds us off in P9. Still going to be a good haulage of points. 9th place is 12 points, effectively, almost half of what P1 gets. P1 gets 30 points in PNR series. Points will change though at some point, the point scheme. I would like to try and take the IndyCar format if I could, because that seems to work quite well. And we can see just behind Coulson is our P3 driver right now, who can't really do much about the situation that they're in. As Jay Skyring just sets a 3/10 lap quicker than that. Looped it around, says Burridge. So again, you know, so what happens when you pick a low downforce setup? It makes it very tricky for sector 3, which is ironically you probably gain the most time in the circuit. So it really is a balancing act. Really is a balancing act. But again, saying that, you probably lose a shed load of time with the long straight, as Jay Skyring, it's not quite close enough just yet, but probably not too far away. Bernardi, however, even though they've just been overtaken by Dreiger, is not too far away from being in the DRS range either. And they are in sector 3 right now. Bernardi's losing sadly a lot of time to Dreiger up ahead. 1.5 seconds is the gap. Now, can Jay Skyring do anything about Butler up in P1? The gap is slowly creeping down. And as it currently stands, Skyring is within DRS range. 9/10 is currently the gap. Burridge just put in chat, nothing else to do on the straight. Than to type in chat. If you are there, feel free to say hi, as we're watching Jay Skyring, who is 1 second behind basically. It's DRS activated. DRS is activated. Let's see what the gap comes down to. Can you still do it after being 1 second behind? And I tell you what, he's letting off, but the answer is yes. If you're 1 second behind, it'll be very close, but it's certainly doable. As Jay, I think, is setting themselves up for the next lap, really. Jay Skyring, a former world ultimate sim racer, champion, if I remember rightly. Let me get the Hall of Famer so I can tell you exactly what Jay Skyring has managed to win. He managed to win the Porsche Multiclass Series. He's the Porsche Multiclass champion. He won the P&R race against Dementia, and Butler gets a terrible exit out of the last corner. Now, was that tactical? Because realistically, Skyring is going to get the lead, but it's going to disappear just as quickly. Skyring is the Endurance champion as well. He is also the P&R Multiclass Season 1 champion. He's also the GT3 Season 1 champion. So, Jay Skyring knows how to win a championship. He knows how to claw back points. He's a little bit like Manchester City in that way. He knows how to get the job done. As we go on board with Butler, who's only... Oh, and Skyring spun it! And as I was giving him all that praise, he goes and bins it. What you doing, lads? Looking forward to the GT3s tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night is round 7 of the Ultimate Sim Racing. We may have our Ultimate Sim Racing champion, but the rest of the field is up for grabs, especially the rest of the podium places. And tomorrow night we are in the GT3 around Dragon Trail Seaside, which has got the Death Chicane, so make sure you tune in for that one tomorrow at 8:30 GMT. Should be a good race, really. If you want to get involved in that one, all you have to do is join our Discord and be a verified human being to be able to access our passwords. So Jay Skyring has now got a lot of work to do. 2.1 is the gap. Now, Butler could be kind and reduce the gap down just to get DRS back, but to be fair, with 8 minutes left to go. Realistically, I think Butler doesn't really have anything to lose. Such a shame for Skyring. Such a shame for Skyring. The rest of the field is pretty well split, to be honest with you. As Burridge is commenting quite a bit in chat in a minute. Let's see what they're doing. They're just heading down the main straight. So, bearing in mind, we're watching Burridge right now, driving. So, literally just said in chat, the Death Chicane gives me code browns. And it should. That's the whole reason. The Ultimate Sim race is meant to get more difficult in some way every single round. Whether it's the car, whether it's the circuit, whether it's both. But the last round is difficult in the form of that it's a miniature endurance. We're back to a 45-minute race on a Monday night. So keep an eye out for that one in 1 week's time. But this is the penultimate round of the Formula 3 Championship that you're watching here on Pretty Ninja YouTube. Currently watching Burridge. Let's go on board with Burridge. Let's give him a bit of airtime. Let's see how Burridge does a lap of this circuit. Completely flat as Skyring's gone into the lead. And Butler has fallen back, so Butler must have had an incident as well now. But we'll do as I said, we'll stick with Burridge. Butler is now 2 seconds behind Jay Skyring, and Butler really needs the race victory to make the last round, well, even possible really, to make it possible to win the championship. So he really does need to get those haulage of points. And there you go, you can see Butler's had a major incident, losing 5 seconds that lap. And like I said, anything can happen in the Ultimate Sim. And Burridge is almost off the circuit. And Burridge says, hey, that's me! He's gonna crash. He's not focusing, he's gonna crash. And he lets off around the right hander, is what I would do. It's super sketchy trying to take it flat after that long straight. Just not really doable without the right downforce. Missing the right hand apex there. Apex, sorry. But again, these cars are probably set up for straight line speed and they're super sketchy. One thing this will do though is really help Jay Skyring's championship prospects for P2. I think, well, realistically, they're not going to win the championship. And Burridge has screwed up the last corner there. Oh, and Burridge has got to drive through for cutting. Oh no. Right, he needs to get it done quickly. He needs to focus up and get it done. Because there's not much time left to be able to basically, well, try and claw anything back. Butler is now P2, 2.5 seconds behind Jay Skyring with 4 minutes left to go. And I don't see a way for Butler to get remotely close to Skyring. Now if Butler finishes P2 right now, let me just see, that'll be a 12-point difference, meaning that, wow, put it this way, Butler would need to win the last race and for Van der Hoeven to finish no higher than P5. So Butler really needs the race win here. And Noah doesn't have enough fuel as well. You're gonna have to put it in lean mode. That could be another thing as well, you know. Fuel could be an issue. They're probably burning through a lot more than expected because of the lack of DRS. More drag, more fuel usage. That is a thing. But yeah, right now, if I've done my maths right, which I have, Butler would finish the race on 138 points. And Van der Hoeven would finish with 100 and... That can't be right. Nope, I've definitely done this wrong. I've definitely done this wrong. I think it could be even worse for Butler. Let me just check. Van der Hoeven's on 130 points. Yeah, so it is going to be worse for Butler if he doesn't get the race victory. The gap will actually be 14 points. Right now, I believe. Yeah, I've done that right. So yeah, it'll be a 14-point gap, which would be no different than if they finished P1 and 2. Well, they're saying that it should be a difference. Oh no, there isn't. 4 points adrift each. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And Burridge is out of fuel, and you can see Burridge has pulled that car on the screen to the right there. And that's Burridge out of the race. And Butler got the gap back to 1.8. And this weather, wow, this back marker needs to be very kind and let them through, but I think it's going to be hard work for Butler. Very neatly done there by Butler. Well done around the outside. We're now down to 2 seconds gap again, and Jay Skyring is on their way to win round 7 of the Ultimate Sim Race. So let me see what this is going to do for Jay Skyring, if they can hold a position. Oh, interesting. Oh, if it stays like it is, the battle for P2 really opens up. Really opens up. And with 6 seconds left of the race to go, this is the final lap, and Jay Skyring is going to take the race victory as it currently looks. Oh, a bit of a front left lock up there, as Jay Skyring comes around the final corner to take the checker flag in round 7 of the PNR Formula 3 Championship. It's been a great drive by Skyring. One mistake, but still managing to hold out to take the race victory here at Paul Ricard. Butler takes P2. Van der Hoeven is now coming around the final corner to take P3. And over the start-finish line they go. P3 for Van der Hoeven. Bernardi has crossed the line as well, finishing off in P7. Fabrice Lamy still quite far behind in P4. Look at the gap, 46 seconds is the damage. But Van der Hoeven doesn't need to worry too much, I don't think, based off of what I have written down right here. And Fabrice Lamy is destroying his engine over the timing line. Spool currently in P5, coming up to the final corner now. Good drive here by Spool, good haulage of points. As Burridge in chat says, don't like this circuit much anyway. I think I'll stick to MX5s and not single seaters. That's fair enough, my guy. That is fair enough. And Dreiger, why can't I see Dreiger's name here? There they are. Comes over the timeline to take P6, and Burridge comes over to take P9. No DNF for Burridge, but a good haulage of points regardless for P9. 12 points being added to their name. Right then, we need to go back to the studio. Come and join me here as we wait for the points to tally up on the server. We're going to take a quick look at the replay. We're going to take a look at lap 1, see what happened to the cars in the midfield pack, see if anyone was at particular fault and what we can learn from it, as well as some possible penalties, but we'll see. I doubt it will change the result that much anyway, but we'll see. So for some reason you can see that race control for some reason is on the grid, but we'll keep an eye on Van der Hoeven. We'll go to chase cam if we can. Chase 2. And here we go. Oh, a terrible start by Butler. Look at that. Butler's just left standing. Jay Skyrim going through. Who is this on the right hand side? And what happens here? Van der Hoeven, so far so good. Oh, and he gets turned around here by Martinez. Right, let's just rewind that back, find Martinez. See if anything happened to them. Martinez. Just carrying far too much speed. Oh, and just causes massive collisions. And Butler might have got a bit of wing damage as well. Now, Spool said lap 1 incident gave me huge front wing damage. Here is Spool. I'm going to assume that was with the spin out. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, because there was the big spin out at the very beginning, wasn't there? Saying that, what happened here? Let's go into 5 times slow-mo. So we can see Veronese, who's got DRS open, now closed, hits into Fabrice Lettermy. Not quite sure what or where they were going. Oh, Bernardi was on the inside of Spool. And straight into the side of Vero. Who is the car next to Spool? Let's be the other way. There's Torres, Fornos, Depret, Martinez, Miranda. It's Bernardi, so let's just see. Bernardi, there's a massive gap down the inside left. Yeah, nothing wrong there really. Nothing wrong there. The gap is 100% there and well alongside Spool there. And then Spool had nowhere to go with Furrow basically causing an incident purely because they had DRS open. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, now you don't have DRS open the moment you start a race because it's not active anyway. You get a drive through. You get a drive through. So Vero is definitely getting a 10-second pen for that one because one, they had DRS open and caused a rather hefty collision all round really. Martinez will be getting a 10-second pen because of the incident with Van der Hoeven. Yeah, that was a full-on collision, Spoolie. Full-on collision. Now I do have here that Dry lost control of their car on lap 2. So here is Dreiger, and we're gonna find lap 2 now. Here is lap 2, I believe. And we'll just see if anything happens here. I saw on stream They seem to have just lost control of their car. But I want to see if they did actually lose control or if they were tapped. Oh, and there is collision between Burridge and Dreiger. That isn't lap 2, is it? Here we go, here we go. Oh no, maybe was it lap 2? I thought it was lap 2. Was it? Oh, there it is, there it is, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. Pret. Oh, causing a collision. Yeah, that's just not quite sure what was going on there. No DRS. Pret just tucking in and just going right up the rear end of Dreiger. Now does Dreiger, let's just check the pedals, see if Dreiger lets off at all, which they shouldn't have done really. You can see Dreiger's let off through the first corner. Now, yeah, of course, the car ahead has the track, right? And they can do what they want. But that is a flat left-hander. And if you let off the power when there's cars right behind you, you're just not gonna survive. You're just gonna die. Let's see what Dreiger was doing, if we can find them. Not Dreiger, Pret, sorry. Pret flat out and having to let off because of Dreiger being off the gas. I can see why Dreiger comes off the line, actually, off the gas, because you can see the car gets kicked right out to the right hand side. And they've let off because they don't want to ruin the track. Now the problem is here, as Paul Ricard, that is a huge bit of runoff that you can get away with. Oh my god, and there's Burridge. And there is Burridge. That is quite a big hit. Oh, that's just... It's just silly. Silly all over, really. It's an unsafe rejoin by Pret. So that's the 5-second penalty because it's an unsafe rejoin. They're going straight back onto the racing line when they have the whole of the left-hand side of the circuit. So that's a 5-second pen. Which is a bit silly. Now, I'm not going to penalise Pret for anything with the incident beforehand. I'm not going to penalise Dreiger either because at the end of the day, that race got ruined. But Pret is going to get a 5-second penalty for unsafe rejoin after, well, we are 3 minutes in. So unsafe rejoin should stay to the right, really. There's so much track over here. It's just, yeah, not the best of rejoins. Burridge got no damage from it as well, but it did ruin your race, so you did get damage from it. Just because you didn't get any physical damage, you still got damage in some regard, so your race still did get a little bit ruined. Now, one thing that we do need to do is find out what happened to Butler, because Butler was leading the way, and all of a sudden, not. Oh, it is Chase Skyring, so we're looking at the wrong car for one. There's Butler. So Butler is ahead right now. Chase Skyring is 2 seconds away. It's more about, you know, gotta keep standards. Oh, and it's just a driver error. by Butler. So this has possibly cost him the championship. And you'll see for what in just a second. He tried taking out J Sky in the most sporting way possible, but couldn't manage it. Not got the skills. Not got the skills to do a proper takeout like some of us. Right, so this is the leaderboard not updated, okay? So just remember the gaps that we have right now. Van der Hoeven's leading the way with 130, 112 and 108 for J Skyring. I've done the maths, I know what's going to happen. Ready? Here we go. Van der Hoeven is leading the way with 152 for the championship. That is 14 points ahead of Butler in P2, and Skyring also with 138 points in P3. The championship battle is a three-way battle. Okay, it's a three-way battle. Now, if Van der Hoeven in the last round, let me do some quick maths in my head, he needs to finish P6 and above. P6 and above, and depending on who wins the race, if it's Butler, then Butler will take the championship if he finishes P6. If it's Skyring, it will go to Van der Hoeven for more podiums. So the championship is wide open for the final round as we head to the Yas Marina circuit. Fabrice Lamy is in P4 with 106 points. Koba is now in P5 with 92 after not attending for the past 3 rounds. Sport moves up to P6 with 79, but closely followed by Mark Coulson in P7 with 74. Bernardi is also in with 74 points in P8, so joint P7 really. Mayor is in P9 after not attending for the past couple of events. Sobek P10, and everyone else you can see below either gave up or just didn't get the points in. Depret says sorry for the crash. That's okay, Depret. But I got standards. I got to keep up with the standards, so I apologise. You're about to get a 5-second penalty for an unsafe rejoin. But I got to be fair to everybody that joins. Okay, that's all it is. There's no hard feelings, It's all good. I just got to give you a little penalty. That's all it is. And there are a couple of other penalties that I do need to dish out. But yes, we hope you had a good race other than the incident that happened, because in all fairness, the first part of that crash you couldn't do anything about. It wasn't your fault. The unsafe rejoin, though, that is in your control. So we are just adding a couple of penalties now. So one has to go to Martinez for a 10-second penalty for causing a collision. Now there was a DNF for Martinez, but still, reopen results. Martinez, race time 10 seconds, reason avoidable contact causing a crash with P2 on lap 1. There you go, simple. So that's that one ticked off the list. Now Veronesi, even though you can see they got a drive-through penalty for using the DRS system. Race time, again, 10 seconds. Reason, avoidable contact. Using DRS on start, which caused a crash on T1 lap 1. Caused a multi-car crash on T1 lap 1. But if you want to join in more, please do. Please do. We've got something called the Ultimate Sim Racer tomorrow night, which we already have our champion, but it's going to be quite good fun. It's the GT3 class at Dragon Trail Garden. So make sure that you join in for that one. And Depret, you're getting a 5-second penalty for an unsafe rejoin. Where are you, Saul? There you are. And sadly, you had a DNF, which is a shame, because I felt like you had a really good quali and practice session. But it's just a little 5 seconds. Just avoidable contact and rejoin. Just what advice can I give? Just make sure you stay off the racing line when rejoining at slow speeds. That's it. That's literally the rule of rejoins. Just don't go onto the racing line when you're rejoining at slow speeds. And that's it. It's not going to affect the outcome of anyone's race whatsoever, but Jay Skyring is today's race winner with the fastest lap as well, as I close and approve. But yeah, effectively, there is a lot of work to be done for Jay Skyring and Butler for the championship, for the F3 championship. Van der Hoeven, in the politest way, has them in the palm of their hands with, well, you just need to finish as P6 and above. I'm pretty sure Van der Hoeven can do that. Butler and Jay Skyring, to win the championship, need the race victory. It's just necessary. It just has to happen. Okay. And as I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, if we look on the Pretty Ninja races, we have only 6 drivers signed up right now for the GT3. You have to be a part of our Discord and be a verified human being, so check your DMs. If you are joining our Discord, a bot sends you a message just saying, "Are you human?" You just go, "Yeah," and then it will give you access to the passwords of this event. Is one of our serious ones, so we like to keep it a little bit locked down tight, but we don't mind who joins as long as they're safe and they want to have a good time. The standings for that one are as follows. Butler leads the way and has won the championship. Jay Skyring can pretty much seal the deal with P2 for the Ultimate Sim Racer Season 3. Spool has a good opportunity here to seal the deal for P3. Sorry. No, Skyring P2, Spool P3. Sorry, my speech is not doing very well today. I apologise. You can tell I don't do this for a living, which is good. So Spool has a very good opportunity to seal the deal with P3. It all depends on what Pindalier and Burridge do to possibly upset the apple cart with 2 rounds remaining. As we take a look at the calendar, the last round is in a GT1 around Sepang International Raceway for the Ultimate Sim Racer, and for the Formula 3 we are heading to the Yas Marina circuit. If it's good enough for Formula 1, it's good enough for us. Wrong thing, calendar. There we go. So, no, sorry, it's Miami. Wait, yeah, Miami we're heading to. My apologies, I thought it was Yas Marina. No, it's Miami. Which could be interesting. Again, very fast circuit, but how do you play it? Do you play at high downforce? Do you play low downforce? I don't know. I don't know. But you can join now. You can sign up today. Make sure you do. The more drivers, the better. We already have 3 people signed up and probably practicing right now. I'm not kidding. They're probably practicing right now. So get signed up, get some practice on, and hope that you have a good race. My name has been Andi. I'll be back tomorrow evening with round 7 of the Ultimate Sim Racer at Dragon Trail Seaside. Until then, look after yourselves. Goodbye.